The real season begins this week. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the Jack Powell Ford Mineral Wells Football Show, right here on S2S Sports, part of L4 Media. As the 4-1 Rams come off the bye week, they begin 3-4A Division II play with Bridgeport this week in a must-win game. And every district game is a must-win game. But, you know, as we talk about in the interview, this is one of the reasons why I like Coach Cody Worrell is, you know, he's very honest about the standing of the district and the team and where he feels Mineral Wells fits in. And, you know, this is one of those you need to win. You're supposed to win this game. You win it. And if you win it, then you start that springboard off to what Mineral Wells has struggled with recently is those district games. And so we'll be talking to him about the Bridgeport game, about the district overall, just about where he feels that his team is. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Jack Powell Ford. You can find them online at jackpowellford.com. And I keep saying this every week, but it's true. The best part is you can get pre-qualified on their website without using your social security number and give you an idea of what vehicle fits your budget, which will allow you not to waste time. It allows you to be more efficient on shopping for vehicles. There's nothing more frustrating or embarrassing or all those negative things when you do your research, you go for a car and you're not qualified for it. You can't quite fit it into your budget without just completely taking on really bad monthly payments or a really, really high down payment. At Jack Powell Ford, you can figure that out before you even start looking. And the great thing is you can look at their whole inventory online. Of course, you can still go there. And if you need to call them, you can call them at 940-654-2714, and they'll take care of you there at Jack Powell Ford. We appreciate them being a sponsor here on the Mineral Wells and the sponsor here on the Mineral Wells Football Show. By the way, if you'd like to be a sponsor, if you have a business, you can email me, Terry at s2ssport.com, and make it happen. We've got 5 more weeks of the season, and then we've got the playoffs. And yes, I think Mineral Wells is going to be in the playoffs. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to the head coach, Cody Worrell, about district play, about Bridgeport, and what he thinks about 3-4A Division II right here on the Jack Powell Ford Mineral Wells Football Show on S2S Sports. Do you have a kid that plays sports? Are you yourself a weekend warrior? Then I'm going to tell you something. Check out NeuroGuardPlus.com. That's NEURO guardplus.com. It's a mouthpiece that can not only help with concussions, but can dramatically affect the way you perform. And the mission of NeuroGuard is to, of course, reduce the risk of suffering a concussion when participating in any contact sport, military, anything that you're doing physical that you could take a blow to the head. You might want to put in a NeuroGuard mouth guard. And as I said, it not only helps eliminate concussions, it helps you perform better by simply aligning your jaw properly. And that sounds like such a simple thing, but it is so important because it allows oxygen to get to your brain. And when you get oxygen to the brain, you don't have that fog of sports or that fog of war where you get confused. And if you've ever played football, you know that's a sport where that can happen. Especially, man, you're in there in the trenches and you take a shot to the side and all of a sudden things are spinning. This mouth guard will help you keep focus by, again, simply keeping oxygen going to your brain 100%. Again, check them out, NeuroGuardPlus.com. And if you play sports, if you have a kid that plays sport, if you do something physical, one of the things that Dr. Hutchinson, the creator of this, was talking about was some people will use it when they're doing yard work and when they're mowing and things like that, where they're being physically active because they know it helps align their jaw and it keeps oxygen going to the brain, which also helps your lungs, by the way, when you can have full breath every time as you're performing. So again, check them out, NeuroGuardPlus.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball.
Terry Bennett back here on the Jack Powell Ford Mineral Wells Football Show, now joined by the head coach of the Rams, Coach Cody Worrell. And, Coach, we were talking a little bit about off the air, and we were talking about the bye week, and you said something I've actually never really heard a coach say that, but it makes sense. You get a little nervous after that bye week. They haven't played for basically 2 weeks and all that. So how are you feeling this bye or coming out of this bye week?
No, I feel good. I just, year to year, you coming off a bye week, kids kind of get stagnant at practice, coming into that second week. But I thought our kids had done a good job of focusing up this week. And I'm just I'm excited about getting to play another game this week.
We start District 3, 4A Division 2. You take on a Bridgeport team that's 2-3, a team a lot of people thought could be a dark horse for a playoff spot. And this is a team that has the talent. What do you see when you look at the Bulls?
Man, they're, you can tell early on that they've been around a new staff. They early on in some games, you could tell there was some confusion, but the kids play hard. They do a really good job of playing hard, and they seem each week to get better and better each and every week. And they're very talented. Their running back, the Pritchard kid, is he's really good. He's a physical runner, and he's got really good speed. Quarterback does a really good job, and they do a good job of getting the playmakers to football.
You bring up a really good point, though. This is the Coach Aaron Cupp, his first year over there, and for a new staff, usually, in my experience, you see the biggest adjustment coming out of the bye week because they've had 4 or 5 games to show the kids what they've done wrong and where they need to trust the coaching staff. And so usually, and you also got this is the first district game. So this truly is what I would call a trap game.
No, absolutely. Coach Cupp's done a really good job with those kids over there. I mean, they're playing fast, they're playing physical on defense. They fly around to the football. They got a really good linebacker, a really good defensive end that makes a lot of plays. But Coach Cupp and his staff have been doing a good job. And like I said, I wasn't trying to knock them early on in the season. What I'm saying is they've seen that they've just gotten trust within their coaching staff, and they know what's going on now. There's not very much confusion going on about what they're doing. Man, like I said, they just keep getting better and better each and every week.
And in a district like this, and this is something you and I have talked about multiple times on the air and off the air, Mineral Wells over the last few years before you got there, and a little bit even last year, you start strong with a non-district schedule, and then it feels like there's that trip-up game in district. And in this district particular this year, you can't have those trip-up games because there's a certain pecking order of the district, and you know as a coach who you feel that you can and can't truly beat without being an upset. And this is one of those games that's a must-have.
Yes, we have to have this one. Now, we want to be 1-0 in district after Friday night, and that's our goal, and that's all that we're focused on. And that's the thing that our team's going into this year is being 1-0 each and every week. That's what we want to be. We're not focused about who we have next week. We're not focused about what we've faced in the past. We're focused on the Bridgeport Bulls on Friday night, and that's just the mentality that our kids have gotten used to, and we got to continue with the rest of the year.
Do you feel that your team, we're 15 games into your tenure here, and again, a late start the first year for you, are you feeling like your team's starting to truly get an identity?
Absolutely. I think that our kids just know the expectations. They expect to win. They expect to play physical and fast, and that's what we ask them to do, and they do it, and they do a really good job. And in practice, they know our practice. I wouldn't say routine. We try to change some things up here and there, just not be stagnant and going doing the same stuff every day. And they know the expectations of what we're asking them to do, and so I just feel like our identity is we're going to play fast, we're going to play physical, and we're going to find ways to try to win ball games.
Halfway through the football season, how's the sub-varsity going?
Man, it's going really good so far. Our 7th grade is undefeated. Our 8th grade has lost 1 game. Our freshmen have lost 1 game, and our JV has lost 1 game. And yes, they have lost 1 game. So it's going well. Our kids at our younger levels are doing really well, and our coaches are doing a really good job of getting those kids prepared each and every week. And I'm proud of them, happy for them.
Yeah. And again, as you've said, when you first came there, varsity results are great, but the foundation gets laid at the sub varsity for the success of the varsity down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's the main thing. We've actually even have a JV red team that's a third sub varsity team, which, a kid right now that starts on our varsity was on that team last year. And so they're just getting to play. And kids don't realize how much just getting to play is so important about getting better. Nobody wants to sit on the sideline, and developing those kids And the best way to develop those kids is by letting them go out and play. So our JV Red team as well it has been a big factor in our sub-varsity schedule.
Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. As always, we want to thank Coach Worrell for joining us here on the Jack Powell Ford Mineral Wells Football Show. As I said, the real season begins, and this is going to be a fun one. You know, this district is going to be such a tough but fun district at the top four. You know, honestly, it lays out to where it's Brock, it's Graham, it's Mineral Wells, and it's Eagle Mountain, I think, fighting for seeding. Bridgeport, you can't count out, man. They're talented, they're experienced, they have a new coach and a new system. And as Coach Worrell was saying, you can see where they've made the early season mistakes and not kind of knowing the schemes. But man, I am a big believer when you have a good coach, and Coach Cup's a really good coach for Bridgeport, and they've got some talent there, that they're going to learn the most in that bye week. This is going to be a really tough game for Mineral Wells, simply because I think Bridgeport now is 3 or 4 times better than they were, 3 weeks ago. And that bye week is so vital in that, especially after coming off they've kind of been a every other week team. They lost to City View, they beat Bowie, they lost to Castleberry, they beat Venus, and then they got beat by Ranchview 2 weeks ago. And that's the one that kind of surprised me. Ranchview's not a great team. But they get that bye week. They can kind of recuperate. And I've said this in a couple other shows. You've got the mantra from all teams, but especially teams that have struggled this year. You're going to have that mantra of, hey, it's district 0-0. We start all over. Every bad thing that's happened up to this part of the season, every good thing, it's all a wash. We start 0-0. And that's why I always say, we talk about it on Sideline to Sideline. You can hear each and every week. We talk 4A, 3A, and 2A. The weird games are always week 1 of the season, because you just don't really know what's going to happen. Even great teams, they've got guys that have never played varsity, all that. And then the first week of district. That's when you have upsets and you have games that are way closer than they should be. You'll have games at halftime that the heavily favored team might be only up by a possession or might even be down. Now, usually they still end up pulling it out, but still, this is when the weird games happen. And so it's going to be an interesting start to 3-4A Division 2. If you have any questions, thoughts, or comments for me, for the show, or for even Sideline to Sideline, all you got to do is reach out, Terry at s2ssport.com. Also, again, if you're interested in being a sponsor on the Mineral Wells Show to close out the season, email me, or you can text me at 469-605-3658. All right, we've talked week 1 to death. We'll talk about it more next week and week 2 of district right here on the Jack Powell Ford Mineral Wells Football Show on S2S Sports, part of L4 Media.